and welcome back to this lengthy survey of Twelfth Night, Shakespeare's greatest play, in my opinion. I hope you're liking today's shirt, and also, although we have no music today, we have a sign. I know you're excited, and we move into Act Two, Scene Four. We're going to finish Act Two today, and we're going to cover one of the most famous comedic scenes in drama, the famous letter scene with Malvolio. But first of all, we're going to Duke Orsino's palace and a rather melancholy scene, a morning after scene. We've had the party, we've had the fun, and now you sort of get the sense that Feste, who turns up, might have a bit of a headache. So we begin again with music in this very musical play. Duke Orsino, give me some music. Good morrow, friends. I want to hear that song we heard last night, that old and antique song we heard last night. It did relieve my passion, there's that word again, much in a play that's exploring different kinds of love. Here is, we're referring once again to passion. More than light airs and recollected terms, affected words, modern songs. No, I like this old song that I heard. Just one verse. Oh, says Curio, is not here that should sing it. Who was it? Feste the jester. First mention of Feste's name. My lord, a fool that the lady Olivia's father took much delight in. He's about the house. Play the tune, seek him out. So we've got more music as a background. Lilting, melancholy music, as you'll find out in a minute, and this gives Orsino an opportunity to talk once again about his love to Viola, who's probably sick to death of hearing about it. But come hither, boy, if ever thou shalt love in the sweet pangs of it, remember me, for such as I am, all true lovers are. Apparently, he's a type. He's the epitome of true love. Unstayed and skittish in all motions, else changeable, fickle. Well, we know that about Orsino. But he promises, we'll see, Act 5, we'll see, save in the constant image of the creature that is beloved. So he admits he's fickle and changeable, but he says, not in terms of the love that I feel for Olivia. As I say, we'll see if that's true. How does thou like this tune? Well, says Viola, probably feeling rather romantic with this soft music playing, and she's in the presence of the man that she loves for some weird reason. It gives a very echo to the seat where love is throned. The seat where love is throned is her heart. Oh, says Orsino, thou dost speak masterly. Note the shared line again there. Love is throned, thou dost speak masterly. My life upon't. Young though thou art, thine eye hath stayed upon some favour that it loves. Some favour, some face, can be the face. Hath it not, boy? Again, split line. Notice this conversation is very tight, and Viola picks up the lines very quickly. Hath it not, boy, a little by your favour? Well, this is, again, perfect dramatic irony. The audience knows that Viola's in love with Orsino. So when she says a little by your favour, yeah, I am in love with somebody a bit like you, like your face. Oh, what kind of woman is't? Of course, thinks he's a man. Of your complexion. Nice irony. Oh, she is not worthy then. What years, i' faith? About your years, my lord, if he hadn't picked up the hints by now. Oh, too old by heaven, let still the woman take an elder than herself. Ah, right, okay, Viola's being told to have an older man, like Orsino. Quite nice. So wears she to him, so sways she level in her husband's heart. Unfortunately, he's rather suggesting that men, being men, when they're young, they're quite fickle, but when they're older, they've settled. I'm still waiting. For boy, however we do praise ourselves, like the sort of, we, our fancies are more giddy and unfirm, more longing, wavering, sooner lost and worn than women's are. Men are worn. They've been through wear. early on their fancies, their desires are giddy and unfirm, and so they need to settle down a bit. Um, and I quite like Lost and Worn, Lost and Won, as sometimes it's read. So quite nice sound there. Again, the split line. The woman's are, "Oh, I think it well, my lord. Yes." That fits her heart perfectly. She hopes that Orsino will be one of those worn men. Um, then let thy love be younger than thyself. Uh, Talking to Cesario, the boy, or thy affection cannot hold the bent of the bow. A bow and arrow, as it's pulled, as it's tautened, it bends. So you couldn't hold that strain. Um, for, here's Carpe Diem again. Women are as roses whose fair flower, being once displayed, doth fall that very hour. Ooh, says Viola to herself. You can imagine she's thinking, I'm stuck in this disguise. I am caught. I am trapped. I mean, there is a real predicament for Viola, I think, um, and it needs release. I keep saying it's one of my favourite plays. It's particularly good, I think, because of the way it gets that sort of mix of comedy, life, fun, but also some melancholy, and it touches on tragedy, and we'll see that a number of times. This trap that Viola is in, that needs release, that needs to be unlocked. Um, this trap is difficult for her to bear, and before the end, she is mixed up and bewildered into a world that she didn't really want to be in. Hence the longing in this couplet here, and it's a rhyming couplet. In fact, we've gone rhyming here. Flower, hour. She responds with rhyme, and so they are. Alas, that they are so to die, even when they to perfection grow. I've put here self-reflective. She's reflecting on herself and her own sad destiny. Um, so a lovely lilting line, and so they are, alas, that they are so to die, even when they to perfection grow. A sad line. Oh, in comes the clown, in comes Festi. Oh, fellow, come, the song we had last night. Mark it, Cesario, 'tis old and plain. I've just mentioned there again Shakespeare messing about with time and so on, and plot, but we don't really judge him for that. Wasn't Cesario there? The spinsters and the nisses in the sun, and the free maids that weave their thread with bones, do use to chant it. 'Tis silly sooth, it's simple truth, and dallies with the innocence of love, like the old age, like the golden age. So remember, he likes this old song. He's talking too much for Festi. As I say, Festi's probably got a bit of a bad head. And rather impatiently, are you ready? Yes, I'm here. Are you ready? I prithee sing. And look at the words that he sings, judging the tone of the morning, judging the melancholy of Orsino perfectly. Come away, death. Come away means hurry. Hurry here. And in sad cypress let me be laid. Sad cypress is wood. It's a black coffin. Very dark, melancholy words. Fly away, breath, I am slain by a fair, cruel maid. Perfect for Orsino and his unrequited love. My shroud of white, all stuck with you. Oh, prepare it, my part of death, no one so true did share it. You, always associated with graveyards and death. If you go to a graveyard in the back of a church, you will probably find yew trees growing there. Again, not a flower, sweet, on my black coffin let there be strewn. Not a friend, not afraid, not a friend, greet my poor corpse when my bones shall be thrown. 1,000 sighs to save. Lay me, oh, where, sad true lover, never find my grave to weep there. So the death of a lover, and a lover that hopefully nobody will find. All very, very sad, very chilled out. And, the hippie Orsino is going to love this. Yeah, man, I love this tune. Very often, as the lilting music sounds, you get this sort of closeness. A director will often, I've done it myself, show this kinship growing between Orsino and Cesario. Perhaps they get closer, perhaps they hold hands, and then at the end when everybody sort of wakes up, the sort of, oh my goodness, what are we doing? So it's a moment, it's a moment perhaps for Cesario, for Viola, to stare at Orsino and in rapture while the soft music and the soft words are playing. It's a nice comic moment. So Duke Orsino wants to pay him, of course. There's for thy pains. Feste will always have money. Thank you very much. Oh, no pains, sir. I take pleasure in singing, sir. Well, I'll pay thy pleasure then. Orsino's already getting a bit tetchy. Truly, sir, and pleasure will be paid one time or another. Give me now leave to leave thee. Rather politely saying, that I don't want to play with words now, even though he says, give me now leave to leave, allow me to leave. In other words, please get out. And Feste sort of takes a little bit of umbrage at this. Now the melancholy god protect thee, and the tailor make thy doublet of changeable taffeta. So cloth that when you move it in the light, it changes colour. Taffeta, we still get it now. And for thy mind is very opal. Again, an opal is a stone that has different colours in it. I would have men of such constancy, like you, Orsino, put to sea that their business might be everything and their intent everywhere. If you went on a journey, you'd be all over the place. You'd be going there, because you're so changeable. For that's it that always makes a good voyage of nothing, a little bit bitter. Back to the sea, of course, back to our reminder of shipwrecks, and that we're on an island. So, Feste can't help but make some sort of intelligent comment on Orsino's character. And Orsino says, right, the rest of you get lost. I want to be with my boy, Cesario. And I've got to send him on a journey. I've got to send him on another journey to Olivia. Once more, Cesario, get thee to yon same sovereign cruelty, cruel queen. Tell her, my love, more noble than the world, prizes not quantity of dirty lands. The parts that fortune hath bestowed upon her, tell her I hold as giddily as fortune. 'Tis that miracle and queen of gems that nature pranks her in attracts my soul. Well, so he says. I mean, he says, I'm not interested in her lands, I'm not interested in her rank, I'm only interested in her beauty. Nature pranks her and nature adorns her with material things. Prizes not quantity of dirty lands. Material things are just grubby. I'm not interested in things like that. And playing, as I say there, on meanings of fortune. Fortune hath bestowed on her. Fortune luckily has given her riches, but I hold them as giddily as fortune. We're also talking about the fortune that she might have financially. I don't care about that, he says. I'm only interested in her beauty, he says. And then Viola's going to do some work now. Viola is going to argue about this. Viola is going to try and put Orsino on the right path. Obviously, Viola wants Orsino to love her, and doesn't want him to love Olivia, so tries to warn him. But if she cannot love you, sir, says Orsino, I cannot be so answered. Sooth, but you must, says Viola. Say that some lady, we're talking about myself here, say that some lady, as perhaps there is, hath for your love so great a pang of heart as you have for Olivia. You cannot love her. You tell her so. Must she not then be answered? Unfortunately, although she's trying, she's answered with one of the most arrogant speeches you can imagine. I mean, we've had him before saying, if she loved her brother that much, how much is she going to love me, one self-king? It gets even worse here. There is no woman's sides can bide the beating of so strong a passion. If we're talking gender in this play, well, here is the arrogant male. No woman could feel like I do. They haven't got a heart big enough. Oh my goodness, you prat. Can bide the beating of so strong a passion as love doth give my heart. No woman's heart so big to hold so much. They lack retention. They can't retain the love like that. Alas, their love may be called appetite. physical hunger, no motion of the liver, but the palate. It's just something they taste. It's something they eat. It's not. And we're back to eating. Surfeiting the appetite may sicken. That suffers surfeit, cloyment, and revolt. Throwing up, remember? But mine, back to the sea again. Mine is all as hungry as the sea and can digest as much. Isn't it lovely how Shakespeare, it's an island, it's a small island, so the sea is present there so many times. Mine is all as hungry as the sea and can digest as much. I've got such a big love. Oh, yeah. Man, look at the size of my love. Oh, he's such a plonker, as I say, and can digest as much. Make no compare between that love a woman can bear me and that I owe Olivia. I always say, oh God, Viola, you listen to this arrogant man. Why? Do you still love him? It's a comedy, I suppose. In the end, it is a comedy, despite what I was just saying about the elements of tragedy. And so we suspend our disbelief here. We know that there's going to be marriage at the end. But she's so taken with this. She's so wrapped up in her own thoughts about Orsino and about trying to get him for herself. She almost says something. I love this cut-off line here. She almost says something. She almost lets slip the reality of her thoughts. And that I owe Olivia. But I know. What dost thou know? Quick in. Break off the line. Share the line there. That I owe Olivia. But I know. Ooh, what dost thou know? Tell me something. Tell me about it. Rescue yourself, Viola. Too well what love women to men may owe. I know how women feel. Well, of course he does, because he's a woman. In faith, they are as true of heart as we. I love that. See how Viola suddenly is one of the lads? We, the boys. Yeah. As true of heart as we. My father had a daughter, loved, I'm asking for a friend here, and my father had a daughter, loved a man, as it might be, perhaps, were I a woman, I should your lordship. Okay, convoluted way of saying that I know someone who loves you. Okay, I know someone who loved a man. Maybe if I were a woman, I'd feel the same way. Well, of course you do. Again, shared line. I should your lordship. Oh, what's her history? A blank, my lord. She never told her love. Oh, we're talking about Viola here, aren't we? Very famous speech, very famous image coming up here. Let's just read it. A blank, my lord, she never told her love, but let concealment, like a worm in a bud, feed on her damask cheek. She pined in thought, and with a green and yellow melancholy she sat, like Patience on a monument, smiling at grief. Was not this love indeed? We men may say more, swear more, but indeed our shows are more than will, for still we prove much in our vows, but little in our love. Men, much in our vows, little in our love. See all those, I've highlighted them there, see all those third person pronouns there, we, our, we. Beautiful colour here, feed on her damask cheek, pink, like the cloth, pink like a rose, a damask rose, but also smooth like damask cloth. You can still get tablecloths, white tablecloths made of damask. It's a fine, smooth cloth. And with a green and yellow melancholy, green and yellow, pale and sickly. Look at that red and white, green and yellow. She sat like Patience on a monument, like a statue of patience, like as if she is an emblem of patience, of waiting. I mean, go back to the wonderful image of the first two lines. A blank, my lord, she never told her love, but let concealment like a worm in the bud feed on her damask cheek. So a worm in the bud, it's an image that's used a lot in the 17th century. The idea of a rosebud that has a worm wriggling away inside it, eating away inside it, like inside Viola, inside her heart, because she's trapped by her disguise. That worm of love is eating her away, and she can't do anything about it. She can't tell her love. She never told her love. It's a blank Perhaps because it's dead. Perhaps because it's unwritten. It's a blank page that can't be written. So, beautiful speech, summing up again that slight tragic element of Viola's life. She's stuck, and we won't see her released for a long time. Oh, but died thy sister of her love, my boy? I am all the daughters of my father's house. Enigmatic response. Sort of cheeky little, I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going on. I am all the daughters, indeed she is. So she's suggesting perhaps her sister died. But of course she is all the daughters because she is a girl. And all the brothers too, and yet I know not. I'm all the brothers. Where's my brother? Is he alive? Is he dead? Change the subject. Snap out of it. Stop all this. Sir, shall I to this lady? Aye, that's the theme. Well, see, yeah, let's get back to proper business. Me. Again, another shared line. Sir, shall I to this lady? Aye, that's the theme. Straight in with the shared line there. Back to business, as I've written there. Orsino, I've written, and I think it's true, Orsino has missed all the nuances of this conversation, but the audience get them. The audience gets how Viola is feeling. To her in haste, give her this jewel. Say my love can give no place, bide no deny. Look again at the rhyming couplet there. And now we move to again, as I said, one of the most famous comic scenes. There's quite a few in here. The Yellow Stockings will come. That's a great one, of course. But we're in Olivia's garden. Sometimes called the box tree scene because they hide in the box tree, but box hedge, shaped hedges, quite nice because you can sort of shape them and have little windows in the hedges for the conspirators to peer through and peep around and move about, and this scene creates beautiful comedy. For some reason, Fest is not turned up. We have this new character called Fabian, who Shakespeare justifies in a minute. No idea why. No idea why he does that, but who cares? Come on, Signor Fabian, come thy ways. Oh, says Fabian, I'll come if I lose a scruple, a tiny bit of this sport. Let me be boiled to death with melancholy, appropriate for Malvolio. Let me be boiled to death with melancholy. Yes, Sir Toby, wouldst thou not be glad to have the niggardly, rascally sheep-biter come by some notable shame? Sheep-biter, sneaky dog, nasty, creeps up and bites sheep. Niggardly is mean, avaricious. You're a niggard. Nothing to do with the N word. You are a niggard if you are miserly. And this is Malvolio compared with Toby, who likes to spend, of course. Oh, I would exult, man. He brought me out of favour with my lady about a bear baiting here. Here's the justification for Fabian being there. He brought me out of favour with my lady about a bear baiting. Bear baiting, yes, a popular blood sport. We're back to blood sports again. But Malvolio, like the Puritans, would be against such entertainments. Entertainment is not in the Puritan mind. To anger him, we'll have the bear again. Malvolio will become the bear. He will be baited. And we'll fool him black and blue, shall we not, Sir Andrew? And we do not. It is pity of our lives. Shame to keep living if we can't do this. Oh, here comes the little villain, little Maria. How now, my metal of India? Gold. She's wonderful. He loves her so much. Right. Maria has got it all planned. Again, just to remind you, this is Maria's idea. This is Maria's plot. She's written the letter. She's the one who is instrumental in organising this, and you can watch it. It's commented on later. The audience watch it, and they watch it from behind. So we've got this dual audience. Again, so the stagecraft is referred to. Get you all three into the box tree. Malvolio is coming down this walk. He has been yonder in the sun, practising behaviour to his own shadow this half hour. Oh my goodness, right. Oh, you are sick of self-love, Malvolio, remember? So he's posing. He's got the sun, and he's like sort of, oh, how do I look? Oh, that's a good pose. He's loving himself. He's not using a mirror. He's using his shadow and seeing what his body looks like. Observe him. For the love of mockery, for I know this letter will make a contemplative idiot of him. Close, in the name of jesting. Close means hide. Lie thou there, puts the letter down. For here comes the trout that must be caught with tickling, hunting again. I've written contemplative, a contemplative idiot. When you're contemplative, you're staring idly into the distance. He's going to become a contemplative idiot. And in he comes. And of course, for the sake of the audience, for the sake of comedy, Shakespeare has him speaking aloud to himself, and he's fantasizing. He's already fantasizing about Olivia loving him. He's already fantasizing in a most inappropriate way about his mistress. The she that is referred to here is Olivia. "'Tis but fortune, all is fortune. Maria once told me she did affect me, and I have heard herself come thus near that, should she fancy, it should be one of my complexion. Besides, she uses me with a more exalted respect than any one else that follows her. What should I think on? It's obvious that she loves me. Obvious. My complexion, one of my complexion, a character. Should she fancy, if she should fall in love with anybody, she's going to fall in love with somebody like me, of my complexion. Obviously. Now, Toby, Andrew, Fabian, hiding, listening, making comments. Here is where it's comedy. Here is where we suspend our disbelief, because the audience must hear this. Malvolio doesn't hear any of it. Yeah, well, it's fun. Okay, so these little comments throughout are hilarious. Especially if you could sort of imagine them, Toby here, here's an overweening rogue and maybe wants to come out and beat him, and Fabian pulling him back, no, hide, So it's a beautifully judged scene. Oh, peace, says Fabian. Contemplation makes a rare turkey cock of him. He's like a peacock. He's showing off. He's strutting how he jets under his advanced plumes, possibly wearing a hat, possibly a feather in his hat, although that doesn't seem very Malvolio-like, but definitely like a peacock. He's strutting. He's admiring his gait, the way he moves. Oh, says Sir Andrew, I could so beat the rogue. And then Toby, I mean, this is one of the jokes, isn't it? That Toby one moment says, here's an overweening rogue, I'm furious, and then, shh, peace, shh. He's going to say some more. To be Count Malvolio. Oh my goodness. The arrogance of the man. Countess Olivia. He sees himself as Count Malvolio. Now, this isn't exactly accurate. He wouldn't be, but, we go with it. Again, Toby. Oh, rogue! Oh, pistol him! Oh, peace. There is example for it. The lady of the Strachey married the yeoman of the wardrobe. Oh, fie on him, Jezebel. Now, Jezebel is a woman. Is this addressed to Malvolio? We've had this, Peggy Ramsey and so on. We've had this sort of suggestion. Andrew probably doesn't know who Jezebel is, but it's also fie on him, the yeoman of the wardrobe. Well, again, but another theme that we're getting referred to here is the cross-class relationship. If Malvolio as a steward marries Olivia, we're breaking down the class barriers. If the lady of the Strachey, or Strachey, married the yeoman of the wardrobe, then, it's breaking class barriers. Fabian shuts him up again. Oh, peace, now he's deeply in. Look how imagination blows him. Like the wind of imagination is fanning the flames of Malvolio. Having been 3 months married to her, sitting in my state, but like a throne. Oh, for a stonebolt I hit him in the eye, calling my officers about me, in my branched velvet gown, having come from a daybed, where I have left Olivia sleeping. And suddenly we get the sexual side to this. Malvolio is envisaging sharing a bed with Olivia. You can see why Sir Toby is absolutely spitting with fury at this. Fire and brimstone, the arrogance of the man. No, peace, peace, says Fabian. Then to have the humour of state, to like some powerful man, I'm surveying the people before me, after a demure travel of regard, telling them that I know my place as I would they should do theirs, to ask for my kinsman, Toby. Not sir, okay? Kinsman. If I were married to Olivia, he'd just be my kinsman. He wouldn't be my boss anymore, or he wouldn't be my superior anymore. So, again, fury from Toby. Oh, bolts and shackles, you can see them. Again, traditionally, they're moving round the scene, hiding behind statues, hiding behind trees, ludicrous things I think I've seen in one of the productions. When Malvolio turns one way and somebody's crossing from hedge to hedge, that they pretend to be a statue, and just it's meant to be funny. It's not meant to be real. So any sort of again, when I did it, we had a movable sort of trellis covered in flowers and so on, and they all three at one point picked up the trellis and moved around the stage to follow Malvolio. Anything that can get slapstick comedy out of this, visual comedy. Peace, peace, peace. Now, shh. 7 of my people, with an obedient start, make out for him. 7 servants, that's powerful. I frown the while, and perchance wind up my watch. Sorry about the missing words here. Wind up my watch, or play with some rich jewel. Toby approaches, curtsies there to me. Curtsies. He's loving this, isn't he? It's absolute fantasy. Play with my could be sexual, but usually he's wearing his steward's chain. That go rub your chain with crumbs. Play with and he picks up his chain, and then of course I won't have that, so drops it. Some rich jewel instead. Shall this fellow live? Fabian wants Toby to shut up. It's got to work, okay? So, though our silence be drawn from us with cars, yet peace. Cards, not cars, but I extend my hand to him, thus, quenching my familiar smile with an austere regard of control. Does not Toby take you a blow of the lips, then? Does not Toby take you a blow of the lips, then? Smack you round the face, saying, cousin Toby, my fortunes having cast me on your knees, give me this prerogative of speech. I have the prerogative. I have the power. I can say what I like. What? You must amend your drunkenness. Out, scab! Nay, patience, or we break the sinews of our plot. We'll ruin it. Shut up, will you? Besides, you waste the treasure of your time with a foolish knight. Oh, that's me, I warrant you. One Sir Andrew. I knew 'twas I, for many do call me fool. Poor Sir Andrew. He's so excited he got a mention, even though he was a mention as an idiot. And he's so pleased. Many call me fool. Well, you wonder why, Sir Andrew. That's very sweet. Oh, what employment have we here? Picks up the letter. Now is the woodcock near the gin. Trap, gin, engine. Woodcock, silly bird. It's going to be trapped. He's there. He's found the bait. Sorry. Oh, peace and the spirit of humour, intimate, reading aloud to him. Let's hope he reads it aloud. Of course he's going to read it aloud. Again, drama, the stagecraft, we need to hear this. But this is sort of self-reflexive, the way that Toby says, I hope he reads it aloud. Yeah, right. Oh, by my life, this is my lady's hand. Is be her very seas, her use, her tease, and thus makes she her great peas. It is in contempt of question her hand. Two things going on there. A dirty joke. on the front of the letter, there are no C's, no U's, no T's, and no P's. It's a very dirty joke that Shakespeare's shoved in there for fun. C-U-T is a very dirty word for woman's genitalia, and thus she makes her great P's. P, okay, thus she pees. So silly joke, which Andrew doesn't understand in a moment, but also notice Malvolio's complete willingness to believe this. Absolute self-delusion, as I've written there. Well, by my life, this is my lady's hand. Does he really know that? It is in contempt of question, though. Look at all these letters. Sir Andrew, that's easy. You said tease. Why that? And Toby, again, usually Toby whispers the answer in his ear, and it's like, oh, how rude. Let's read the front of the letter. To the unknown beloved, this and my good wishes. Our very phrases. Self-delusion. By your leave, Wax. Opens the parchment. Soft. Is the wax still soft? Or shh. The impression her Lucrece. No, the wax is still soft, isn't it? And the impression is her Lucrece, who is a symbol of chastity. So Olivia's signet ring, Olivia's ring, seal, or whatever, is Lucrece, with which she uses to seal. 'Tis my lady. To whom should this be? Oh, says Fabian. This wins him. Liver and all. Passion again. Jove knows I love. But who? Lips do not move. No man must know. No man must know. What follows? The numbers, the meter. The numbers altered. No man must know. This should be thee, Malvolio. Ha! Marry, hang thee, Brock. The badger. Black and white. Puritan. Also apparently seen as quite a smelly animal. I may command where I adore, but silence like a Lucrece knife, with bloodless stroke my heart doth gore, M-O-A-I doth sway my life. Well, it's a riddle, as Fabian comments. It's a fustian riddle. It's a thick, meaty riddle, and M-O-A-I. Maria's given him hints that he's going to force to work because that is the power of his self-delusion. It's not going to be exactly to him, but it doesn't matter because he will make it to him. Oh, excellent wench, say I, says Toby. M-O-A-I doth sway my life. Nay, but first, let me see. Notice the way Shakespeare beautifully makes this conversation. Oh, what dish of poison has she dressed him, says Fabian. With what wing the staniel checks at it. More hunting, more falconry. I feel bad because I forgot to refer to the word pitch in the very first page, which is a falconry term, but we've got another falconry term here. The staniel is a kestrel. With what wing the staniel checks at it. Up in the air, it sees the prey and is fluttering and ready to dive. I may command will I adore. But why, she may command me. I serve her, she is my lady. This is evident to any formal capacity. There is no obstruction in this. And the end, what should that alphabetical position portend? If I could make that resemble something in me. Softly, M-O-A-I. And sometimes the actors, make it. If I can make that, forcing it to mean something. And they pick up on the letters. Oh, I make up that is now to consent. Oh, I. And Fabian, Sauter is a dog's name. Sauter will cry upon for all this, though it be as rank as a fox, as if it is as rank as a fox. Malvolio! M! Why, that begins my name! Did not I say he would work it out? The cur is excellent at faults. Another dog hunting image. Faults is a scent that's gone cold. A fault is a scent that's gone cold. But the dog will catch it. Okay, the dog will smell it out. Um, but there is no consonancy. Posh language. In the sequel, that suffers under probation when I try and prove it. A should follow, but O does. And O shall end, I hope. Possibly a noose O. And or maybe realization, getting it. And Toby joins in with this wordplay. Oh, I'll cuddle him and make him cry. Oh, ow. And then I comes behind. Yes, says Fabian. And you had any eye, says Fabian, sorry. And you had any eye behind you. You might see more detraction at your heels and fortunes before you. The fortune of Olivia that you're looking forward, you might see actually there's more behind you. Us, ready to catch you, ready to fool you, gull you. MOAI, this simulation is not as the former, and yet to crush this a little, it would bow to me, for every one of these letters are in my name. Soft. Here follows prose. This fall into thy hand, revolve. Well, Maria means think about this. Let it go round in your head. Again, for comedy, often the actor turns round, especially if there's Toby and Fabian and Sir Andrew behind him, and they have to hide very quickly. Bit of a strange opening, but all good for comedy. In my stars I am above thee, but be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Okay, cross-class barriers. Some have greatness thrust upon them. Okay, in other words, Olivia is suggesting or Maria is suggesting, using Olivia's ideas, and we do see these ideas in her later, that you can rise to greatness even though you're low. Thy fates show thy force. Olivia's words. Fates show thy force, sorry. Ourselves we do not owe. Thy fates open their hands. Let thy blood and spirit, the body and soul, embrace them, and to inure thyself to what thou art like to be. So to inure yourself is to accustom yourself, get used to it. Cast thy humble slough. It's like a snakeskin. Cast off your old skin and appear fresh. The opposite with a kinsman, surly with servants, let thy tongue tang arguments of state. So politics, tongue tang, let your tongue ring with arguments of state, with political ideas. Again, for somebody who is high in rank, not for a steward. Put thyself into the trick of singularity, be eccentric. She thus advises thee that sighs for thee. Remember who commended thy yellow stockings, and wish to see thee ever cross-gartered. I say, remember, go to, thou art made. Come on, if thou desires to be so. If not, let me see thee a steward still, the fellow of servants, and not worthy to touch fortune's fingers. Farewell, she that would alter services with thee. Again, alter services, breaking across the class barrier. Yellow stockings. The joke is that they're very old-fashioned. Thus they are laughable. But I didn't read that brilliantly. But I've seen it done where sort of the excitement builds. If you look at, I'm going to make this a bit bigger actually. Can I do that here? Hold on a sec. Yeah, a little bit bigger. That's better. So you can see him getting more and more excited. I've seen it done where he's sort of, like whooping at the excitement. It's she thus advises thee that sighs for thee. Remember who commended thy yellow stockings, or it could be puzzle. The yellow stocking. I don't remember that, but anyway, I bet he's going to convince himself of it in a minute. Some have greatness thrust upon them. This is me. I'm going to have greatness thrust upon me. So again, another joke that I've seen, and it's good to remember these moments of drama. The How do you say slough? Is it slough? Is it slew? You know that lovely English formation that could be anything. Is it sloth? And I've seen Malvolio sort of try to cast thy humble sloth, slough. I'm not sure which it is. Who's it from? The fortunate unhappy. She has fortune, but she is sad. Well, that's Olivia, isn't it? Obviously. Scheming. He's going to become a schemer if he reads politic authors, as he says in a minute, and if he lets his tongue tang, beautiful sound there, arguments of state. He will be like a Machiavel. I've written here, like a Machiavel, scheming for power, and of course, really, I suppose you could say that it's Maria who's scheming. So he's decided. It's obvious. Champagne is open country, open fields. Daylight and champagne discovers not more. This is open. I will be proud. I will read politic authors. I will baffle Sir Toby. I will wash off gross acquaintance. I will be point devise the very man. I do not now fool myself. Really? To let imagination jade me or deceive me, it's not. No, this is true. For every reason excites me to this, that my lady loves me. She did commend my yellow stockings of late. She did praise my leg being cross-gartered. And in this she manifests herself to my love, and with a kind of injunction drives me to these habits of her liking. Complete and utter self-deceit. She did. I remember now. Absolute balderdash. Of course she didn't. But he's going to convince himself, or he has convinced himself, that she does. I thank my stars. And here's the Puritan. Here's Mr. Miserable, dressed in black. Remember that yellow, of course, completely at odds with that. Dressed in black, miserable, serious, sober. I thank my stars. I am happy. Perish the thought. Malvolio is happy. I will be strange, stout, strange with the others, aloof, distant, superior, stout, proud, strong, in yellow stockings, and cross-gartered, even with the swiftness of putting on. Jove and my stars be praised. Here's yet a postscript. Thou canst not choose but know who I am. If thou entertainst my love, let it appear in thy smiling. Thy smiles become thee well. Therefore in my presence still smile. It still means always in Shakespeare. Dear my sweet, I prithee. And he tries a smile, and it's very difficult. Jove, I thank thee. I will smile. I will do everything that thou wilt have me. And off he goes, excited, possibly skipping off with excitement. And the boys, Fabian, Toby, Andrew, fall out from behind the hedges, screaming with laughter, possibly falling onto their knees with the excitement of how well this trick has worked, how well Maria's planning, scheming, plotting has succeeded. And we get a beautiful line from oh no, actually, sorry, the stage one comes in the next scene. So, look at Fabian. I will not give my part of this sport for a pension of thousands to be paid from the Sophie, says Sir Toby. Look at Andrew's following again. I could marry this wench for this device. Oh, so could I too. Ask no other dowry with her but such another jest. Oh, nor I neither. Here comes the noble gull catcher. A gull is a fool, an idiot, a dupe. As I said before, gullible, that's where we get that word from. And I could marry this wench for this device. Well, spoiler alert, He does. And in comes Maria, and they bow down before him, prostrate themselves before him. Again, quite funny if Andrew just copies what Toby does. Wilt thou set thy foot on my neck, or am mine either? Shall I pay my freedom a trade trip, and become thy bond slave? And play for my freedom with dice. I want to be your slave. I want to be in bondage to you. Oh, in faith, or I either. Poor Andrew. Why thou hast put him in such a dream that when the image of it leaves him, he must run mad. Yes, he will. Madness, key theme. Oh, nay, but say true, does it work upon him? Like aquavitae with a midwife. Aquavitae is like smelling salts. Make them for somebody who's fainted. If you will then see the fruits of the sport, mark his first approach before my lady. He will come to her in yellow stockings. 'Tis a colour she abhors, and cross-gartered, a fashion she detests. And he will smile upon her, which will now be so unsuitable to her disposition, being addicted to a melancholy as she is, that it cannot but turn him into a notable contempt. If you will see it, follow me. Notable contempt. It'll be an absolute disgrace. Again, often on stage, the joke is that Andrew is entirely dressed in yellow, but 'tis a colour she abhors. Remember, Andrew is trying to woo Olivia. Whoops, wearing a yellow suit. Oh, I didn't realise that, thinks Andrew. Again, comic, visual comedy. Follow me, says Maria. Oh, says Toby, I'll follow you forever, I'll follow you to hell. And because she is a devil of wit. Oh, to the gates of Tartar, thou most excellent devil of wit. I'll make one too. Wait for me, says Andrew. Don't forget me, mate. And we finished Act 2. One of the most funny scenes in Shakespeare. But we will find out more, and we will find out what happens when he turns up in Olivia's court with his yellow stockings and his cross-gartering and his smiling in the next video. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.